When two cops lie in court thinking they've got the upper hand, they have no idea their victim holds a CIA clearance. What happens next turns their entire world upside down. Subscribe my channel. BLK Stories. Atlanta was moving like it always did on a Monday morning, fast, but somehow still stuck in the same place. The streets were a symphony of honking horns, muffled conversations, and the occasional irritated sigh from a caffeine-deprived commuter. The scent of fresh coffee and exhaust fumes mingled in the air, painting a picture of routine chaos. Jasmine Carter, however, had no time for the symphony. She stepped out of her sleek black sedan, heels clicking against the pavement with a certainty that said she belonged exactly where she was. No hesitation. No doubt. A woman on a mission. The Thompson Federal Courthouse loomed in front of her, gray, imposing, the kind of place where justice was supposed to live. Jasmine knew better. Justice didn't live here, it visited occasionally, usually in handcuffs. She adjusted the strap of her leather briefcase, its weight familiar in her hand. Inside, documents that could shift the balance of a federal case. The kind of information that people in expensive suits would kill to keep buried. In her other hand, just a simple folder, but the papers inside were worth more than the lives of the men who were about to try her patience. She was 5 steps from the courthouse entrance when it happened. "Hey! Hands up!" Jasmine froze. The voice behind her was sharp, loud, the kind of voice that came with a badge and the assumption that it never needed to explain itself. She turned slowly, her pulse steady, her face unreadable. 2 white officers, hands hovering over their holsters. Sergeant Rick Daly and Officer Connor Brooks. She didn't need a name tag to know their type. She had met them before. Different faces. Same playbook. Daly stepped forward, jaw tight, chest puffed out just enough to make sure she noticed the badge pinned to it like it meant something. "Ma'am, put the bag down and step back." The words were calm, but the stance was anything but. Jasmine tilted her head, the faintest hint of amusement flickering in her dark eyes. Oh, this was about to be interesting. "Excuse me? What's the issue?" Brooks was already scanning her up and down, eyes flicking to her briefcase like he expected it to explode because a black woman in a suit carrying a folder? Apparently, that was a national security threat. You match the description of a suspect involved in fraudulent government activity. Fraudulent government activity. Jasmine let the words hang in the air for a moment, like they were too ridiculous to acknowledge. Then, she let out a slow, humorless laugh. "Let me guess. Black woman. Nice suit. Carrying important-looking papers. Yeah, I hear that's real dangerous these days." Daly's jaw twitched. "Just cooperate, ma'am." There it was. That tone. Not a request. A demand. Jasmine's eyes flickered to the courthouse doors. She was minutes away from walking into a hearing that she was supposed to be leading. Instead, she was out here being treated like a criminal for existing in the wrong skin. "I don't have time for this," she said evenly. "I work here." Daly didn't even blink. Didn't ask a single follow-up question. Didn't care, because black people explaining themselves to cops never actually mattered. Daly reached for his cuffs. "You resist, it's obstruction," Brooks added. Obstruction. Jasmine's lips parted in an almost smile. "Oh, that was funny. Obstruction. That's cute. And what exactly am I obstructing? The fresh air?" Daly's patience snapped. The cuffs were out. Jasmine didn't flinch. She didn't fight. She didn't give them anything. She simply lifted her hands and let it happen. Because she wasn't just playing their game. She was about to flip the whole board. Jasmine Carter had seen bad cops before. She had seen them lie, manipulate, abuse their power like it was some birthright. She had studied them. Exposed them. Dismantled them piece by piece, brick by brick. But this time? This time was different. She sat inside a cold, dimly lit holding cell, her back straight, her hands folded neatly in her lap, like she was in a boardroom, not behind bars. The walls smelled like sweat, cheap bleach, and injustice. A familiar scent in precincts like these. But Jasmine wasn't just waiting. She was listening. Right outside the cell, Sergeant Daly and Officer Brooks were having a conversation they clearly didn't think she could hear. "She had the documents on her," Brooks muttered. His voice was low, but not low enough. "Amateur." Daly exhaled sharply. "We just say she tried to pass them off as real clearance files." Jasmine's fingers tightened around her knee. Oh, so that was the play. They weren't just trying to arrest her. They were framing her. The charge? Forgery and impersonating a federal officer. The irony was almost funny. Jasmine closed her eyes briefly, let the weight of the moment settle. Not because she was scared. Not because she was angry. Because she was tired. Tired of the same old script. Tired of the same recycled lies. And mostly, tired of men like Daly thinking they could get away with it. "She's a nobody. Judge will believe us. They always do. Nobody. A nobody." Jasmine took a slow breath in through her nose. They had no idea who they were dealing with. She let them talk. Let them dig themselves deeper. Every word. Every smug assumption. It was all evidence. Then, the door to the holding area slammed open. Boom. Like thunder rolling in before a storm. Enter Marcus Bell. Tall. Broad-shouldered. A suit so sharp it could cut glass. Black defense attorney with a reputation that sent prosecutors into early retirement. He didn't walk into rooms. He took ownership of them. And right now? This precinct belonged to him. He didn't spare Daly or Brooks a glance as he strode straight to Jasmine's cell. "She's coming with me." Daly tensed. "She's facing serious charges." Marcus barely blinked. Instead, he pulled a thick file from his briefcase and slid it across the desk with the kind of confidence that said he already knew he'd won. Daly frowned, but picked it up. "What's this?" Marcus leaned in slightly, lowering his voice just enough to make it feel dangerous. "Oh, just a little something from the Department of Justice." Daly's jaw tightened. "Turns out Miss Carter isn't just some civilian. She's a consultant on federal security clearance cases." The room went still. Brooks shifted uncomfortably. "That doesn't mean she didn't." Marcus held up a finger. One simple finger. And Brooks shut up. Marcus let the silence stretch before speaking again. Slow. Deliberate. "And that fraudulent document you claimed she had?" He let that question sit there. Like a hunter giving prey one last second to realize it had been caught. "It was meant for today's federal court hearing." Daly's face drained of color. Brooks swallowed hard. "She didn't tell us." Jasmine finally spoke. Calm. Controlled. Deadly. "Oh, I didn't. Must have slipped my mind. You know, since I was thrown in cuffs before I could even open my mouth." Subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.